For those of you that don't know what shiny Pokemon are, they're just your everyday Pokemon but with different colours. The odds of finding one randomly is 1 in 4096. Yeah. Luckily, there are many ways to increase your odds of getting a shiny Pokemon. For example, in this video, we're going to be using the Masuda method, which is when you just hatch a bunch of baby Pokemon, like a whole dump.
Who gives a shit?
So after 500 hours of playing, and 4 hours of sitting on the toilet trying to poop because I haven't drank water in 2 weeks, I've finally done it. I've caught all 721 Pokemon. Why I've done this, you may ask? Well, now my odds of finding a shiny are 1 in 512. What kind of bullshit is this, bro? No, what the f?
Ahaha. Me and my son. Hit it. Yeah. Hit him with it one more time, eh? Oh, dab on him.
You also have to remember that every egg has a 1 in 512 chance of being a shiny, which means it could take well over 512 tries just to get one, which is why I am going to try to make a robot that can shiny hunt for me. Now, in theory this should be very easy, but I've only coded once in my lifetime, and... So the Arduino and the servos have just arrived, but I just remembered that I don't actually know how to code servos. Yeah, it's gonna be a long day. So I've learned how to code a servo, and by that I just mean I know how to copy and paste one from their website. I've got the servo working, but it needs to use a 5V pin, and the Arduino only has one of those, which means I can only use one servo per Arduino. Well, I guess this is where the story ends. At least I can say I tried. But what use does that have? I had no plan, no experience, no money. I was bound to fail, and it was only a matter of time. I guess everyone that doubted me was right. How could a person like me make such a cool creation? I guess I was just dreaming too big. Exam season is finally over, which means I can carry on with this project, but I don't remember anything from the code or what any of it means, so I have to relearn that first before I carry on.
What you know about rolling down in the...
It didn't take me too long to remember most things, however there are still a few things that I don't understand. This also arrived in the mail. It's an Arduino expansion breakout board which allows you to connect more than one servo to your Arduino, so the problem I had earlier has just been fixed. Okay, so everything from the video up to this point was being made from like the 17th of April 2021, and right now the date is the 18th of October 2022, and for some random reason I've just felt like I want to continue this project again. Okay, so here's the plan. First we get a map of our 3DS's buttons. Then we make a cardboard cutout of the buttons so that the servos have a way of pushing them and stays in line with the buttons. Step 2.5 is us finding a way to push the buttons without the servos getting in the way of each other. And finally, step 3 is us putting it all together.
Load it up. Breathe air!
Step 1 was arguably the easiest step out of them all. All I really had to do was just draw over the buttons onto a piece of paper, and that was pretty much it.
If you don't like me,
Lick my fucking gooch, bitch!
Moving on to step 2 now, I had to carve kind of into the cardboard what I had drawn onto the paper and cut that out. And it's a bit obvious that that didn't go very well. I also thought about a way to keep that piece of cardboard stable, because I felt like if the robot was moving in any sort of way, the cardboard would just start shifting and it will basically become useless. So I decided to kind of create a case for the 3DS.
Your brain doesn't fucking work, you idiot. You're honestly an idiot. I don't know what's wrong with you.
Okay, so before we start step 2.5, I just realized that I forgot to put the Arduino board onto the piece of cardboard, as well as places to put the servos. Yeah, I don't have a good idea. I'm just thinking of one thing, and yeah, sorry, Daniel.
Michael, don't leave me here. Michael, help me.
The reason that white people are inferior is because they don't have enough melanin in their skin.
After having some time to think, I've decided to connect the servos to a pencil. What I hope for is that the rubber on the pencil would cushion the pressing of the buttons so they don't wear and tear. So unfortunately, not all of my mechanical pencils are the same. So I decided to do a bit of searching around my house to try find another mechanical pencil, but I soon realized that the one pencil that I found was exactly like the one pencil that wasn't like the rest.
Don't miss if you rise that shotgun.
It's a new day and I've got a new idea. Although all the pencils are different, they all still have rubbers. So I'm planning to take out all their rubbers and just connect them to the servos instead. My initial idea was to have something stuck to the servo which would then push the buttons. But as I was putting the rubbers in, they just fit perfectly, so I think I'm just going to stick with this design instead. I also wanted to test if the rubbers would actually push the right buttons. And well, you can see in my reaction, I was so happy. Now that I know the rubber and the buttons are basically connected, I'm gonna try glue on a servo and see where that goes. It's done. Okay, so I actually want to test whether it still like vibrates due to the like gears spinning inside the servo, and if that's gonna affect the buttons being pressed. So I'm gonna do a slight bit of coding before I start with the other servos. I actually want to quit this now. Like, it's fully taking the piss. The first problem I had was the flipping Arduino kept on jumping off the board, so I had to glue a bit on the top of it so it would stay down. Then, every time this flipping servo would press a button, the actual cardboard would just start raising, so the button wasn't even being pressed. I don't know how, but somehow I've done it. It's working. I don't know what a flip is. Like, bro, what's the time even? It's flipping 2:43 right now, but it works. The only thing is the B button is not working, so now I have that same problem, but on the B side. Like, if I push this down, he starts running, but fam, I'm so close. Yeah, I'm restarting the whole project. This time, instead of using cardboard, I'm going to be using wood, and so far it's actually been really good. Everything works, and all I have is to just put one more servo on and it should be done. Okay, so unfortunately I had to use 2 servos instead of 1, but I'm happy to say that it actually works now. Now all that's left is just coding the servos and I should be done. But while that happens, let me explain to you guys how this robot is going to shiny hunt for me. So in Pokemon X and Y, the Pokemon Daycare is located in Route 7. Luckily for us, Route 7 is also a long straight stretch of road. So I plan to have the robot run up and down this road until each egg hatches in its party. Once that happens, I'll also have it collect new Pokemon eggs from the daycare, and that cycle will just pretty much repeat.
people ask how I'm doing. Very suicidal.
Alright, so all the coding's done. I've also had to redesign the robot because some parts weren't working, and I accidentally blew up one of my Arduinos. So I ended up frying the Arduino breakout board instead of my Arduino Nano chip. So I actually can't continue with this project. However, luckily, I did record some of the runs that my robot did beforehand, so I should probably be playing them now. So breaking news, my Arduino and the breakout board are both completely fine, and it was actually my servo that blew up. But to be honest, I can't be bothered to carry this on, so I'm just gonna leave this here, and maybe another time I'll then find the shiny Pokemon.